You thought Sue Bird was going to sugarcoat it? Not a chance. She took one look at the Indiana Fever's title hype and said, "Let's pump the brakes, people." But don't get it twisted. She wasn't dismissing them. She was setting the record straight. Caitlin Clark's got the skills, no doubt. But rings aren't won on Twitter or by dancing on TikTok. Yeah, Angel Reese, we're looking right at you. But here's where it gets spicy. Sue didn't hold back. She didn't play it safe with some generic, "the Fever might be good" take. No, she went all in. Sue Bird, the walking, talking basketball encyclopedia. The woman with more championships than Angel Reese has made layups this season. Straight up said the Indiana Fever are real title contenders. They obviously through trade added Sophie Cunningham, a player that, I would say a 3-and-D type player, yeah, who has, been to the finals, so has that playoff experience. She's also just tough. She's mentally tough, she's physically tough, she brings an edge to them. And then last but not least, they added Joanna Bonner, which really I think is the one that, for most people, took it to another level. So now you're like, oh, they're a contender. Let that marinate for a second. Sue Bird isn't just any retired player throwing hot takes for clout. This is a 4-time WNBA champion, 5-time Olympic gold medalist, and one of the smartest basketball minds to ever touch the hardwood. She's played against legends, led dynasties, and knows exactly what it takes to win at the highest level. When Sue speaks, it's not for clicks. It's because she sees something everyone else is missing. So Sue Bird is one of the greatest point guards of all time in the WNBA. And she's someone who, obviously, is a part owner in the Seattle Storm. So hyping up another team is a bit of a conflict of interest, if we're being honest. And here's the thing. She's not just talking about Caitlin Clark. Sure, Clark's a generational talent, pulling up from the parking lot like it's nothing, breaking records like it's her side hustle. But if you think Sue's hyped just because of Caitlin, you clearly don't understand how her basketball brain works. Sue sees the bigger picture. She sees the foundation, a team that's been grinding, putting in the work even before Clark even signed that rookie contract. Imagine those seasons with barely any crowds that Kelsey Mitchell, Lexi Hall, and Aaliyah Boston endured. But since Clark's arrival, that spark turned into a wildfire. Sue Bird doesn't throw around title contender like it's confetti. This is a woman whose entire career was built on smart decisions, on the court, off the court, with her words, with her passes. If she's telling the world that the Indiana Fever have something special, she's not guessing. She's warning you. The biggest part of DB joining this team is that she's already played for Stas. So I think that's going to help bridge the gap, because as we go along, we're going to talk about Vegas and Seattle, Atlanta. It's really going to be which Stephanie White being the head coach, right? Yeah, sorry, I think it was the head coach of Connecticut, now the head coach of Indiana. Yeah, so it's really going to be the team that finds their chemistry. This season is short. I mean, they're adding games, but it's still pretty short. So these different, yeah, still short. And it's going to be the team that finds chemistry. So having Stephanie White there, having already coached DB, really does help. Sure, nothing's guaranteed. No one's handing out championships in February. But here's the part people are missing. Indiana isn't just a fun young team anymore. They're not here to develop. They're here to win. And that should terrify the rest of the league, because the scariest thing in sports isn't just talent. It's talent mixed with belief. It's a team with momentum. It's players who've been told, "You're not ready yet," and who respond with, "Actually, we are." Sue Bird sees that belief brewing in Indiana. She recognizes it because she's lived it. She knows exactly how dangerous it can be. Now let's talk about Cheryl Swoops, because, oh boy, that hot take she dropped about real talent, never choosing Indiana, is aging like milk left out in the sun. In fact, it's starting to look like one of those cold takes that ends up on compilation reels with dramatic violin music playing in the background. You know the type. This didn't age well, written all over it. Because, against all odds, and against Swoops' entire thesis, players are choosing Indiana. Not reluctantly, not as a last resort. They want to be there. And why? It's about Caitlin Clark. Indiana Fever jerseys are flying off the shelves and ticket sales are skyrocketing. Indiana isn't some forgotten, struggling franchise anymore. This isn't the WNBA version of a pity party. They're building something real. And when someone like Sue Bird says, "Hey, this team is about to be a serious problem," you better believe players across the league are listening. Because Sue isn't just out here handing out compliments like participation trophies. She's not on TV for shock value. When she speaks, it's because she sees something. And what she sees in Indiana isn't just potential. It's a team that's not sitting around waiting for success to magically show up. They're hunting it down. Look at the moves. This isn't some Cinderella story where they're banking on Caitlin Clark to be their fairy godmother and magically fix everything with a three-pointer. They've been stacking up real pieces. Pieces that make basketball sense. Every signing, every trade, every draft pick has been part of a plan. A blueprint designed to let Caitlin Clark express her talent without carrying the entire franchise on her back. Let's talk about free agency for a second because this is where it gets juicy. Suddenly, Indiana isn't just a place players go to get some minutes and pad their stats. It's a destination. A place where you can actually win. A place where you'll be playing on national TV, in front of packed arenas, with a fan base that's growing faster than Angel Reese's list of excuses. And most importantly, you get to play alongside a young core that's only getting better. There's something about the way she plays the game, her passing, her shooting, that people really identify with. I really feel like we're poised and we're set up for a great, successful next era of Fever basketball. That's what Sue Bird recognizes. That's why she's been loud about it. She sees what's coming. And the funniest part? A lot of people refuse to see it until it smacked them right in the face. Indiana went from being a WNBA afterthought to one of the most talked about teams in the league. And not just because of hype, not just because of flashy headlines or social media buzz, because of actual basketball reasons. Sue Bird sees the trajectory. She sees a team that's not just hoping to be great, but actually putting in the work to be great. And for anyone still doubting the Fever, still clinging to the outdated narrative that Indiana isn't a destination, but here's where it gets even more interesting. Sue Bird isn't just looking at the rosters, she's looking at the blueprint, the foundation, the system that's being built behind the scenes. And one thing she sees that a lot of people are overlooking, Stephanie White. The future is so bright, and our ultimate goal is to hang another banner in the field house. And our ultimate goal is to come back in here after we win that championship and celebrate again like we did in 2012. Yeah. Stephanie White isn't just some random coach they picked off the available candidates list. This isn't a let's see if it works situation. Stephanie White is the perfect coach for this moment. She's been here before. She knows how to handle talent. She knows how to manage expectations. And most importantly, she knows how to win. And let's not forget, she's already coached Duana Bonner before. That chemistry, already built. She knows exactly how to get the best out of Bonner, how to fit her into a system, and how to make sure she complements the weapons Indiana already has. That's not just coaching. That's leadership. And Stephanie White just made a masterstroke. Let's talk about Bonner for a second because this isn't just some veteran signing to boost morale. Bonner is a problem. A walking mismatch. A bucket and a defensive stuffer rolled into one. And one of the all-time greats in WNBA history. She's versatile, experienced, and still has defenders waking up in cold sweats. Having her step into this Fever team with a coach who knows how to unleash her potential. Pair that with Caitlin Clark's gravity on the floor, and suddenly the Indiana Fever aren't just in the title conversation, they're looking to dominate it. The Indiana Fever's title chase isn't a fantasy anymore. It's becoming a reality. While the rest of the league scrambles to figure out rotations, Indiana already has the blueprint. They're not just stacking talent. They're crafting a team with purpose, chemistry, and a hunger to win. Caitlin Clark isn't just a rookie stepping into a professional league. She's the catalyst transforming Indiana from an underdog to a legitimate powerhouse. And that's what Sue Bird sees. Not just potential, but a well-oiled machine in the making. Let's break this down further because some people still don't get it. Caitlin Clark isn't just bringing her elite scoring ability to Indiana. She's bringing a mindset. This is a player who thrives under pressure, who's faced packed arenas, deafening crowds, and still can drop 40 points like it's a casual shoot-around. She's a leader, not just in points, but in presence. When Clark steps on the court, her confidence is infectious. Her teammates feel it, the fans feed off it, and the opponents, they feel the pressure. Sylvie Cunningham she is there to be Vice-City enforcer. She played a lot of 5 at Phoenix. She literally played 1 through 5. She guarded 1 through 5 at Phoenix. There is maybe a not more versatile glue player in the WNBA than Sylvie Cunningham. There are better players or more versatile players, but no more versatile glue players in 100K a year. Ningania. She's almost a one-of-a-kind in what she does, and this isn't just about Clark's ability to score from the logo, it's about how she elevates everyone around her. Aaliyah Boston, an absolute force in the paint, now has a guard who can draw defenders out, creating more space for her to dominate inside. That inside-out duo, it's a nightmare for defenses. Kelsey Mitchell and Lexi Hall can cut to the basket with ease with the gravity Clark is generating. You can't double any of them without leaving the other wide open. Add Duana Bonner's veteran savvy, Natasha Howard's defensive grit, and Sophie Cunningham's sharpshooting, and you've got a team that can beat you in every way imaginable. Guard Clark straight up and she will blow past you. Double or trap her, and she will pick you apart with her elite court vision and passing. But what really sets Indiana apart is their culture shift. This isn't the same team from a few years ago, struggling to find their identity. No, this team knows exactly who they are. They're resilient, scrappy, and unapologetically hungry for wins. They've embraced the target on their back because when you have a player like Caitlin Clark, every game feels like a championship game. Every team wants to beat you. Every crowd wants to see you fall. And that's exactly the kind of pressure Clark thrives under. Sue Bird recognizes this because she's been there. She knows what it's like to carry expectations, to be the face of a franchise, to have every move dissected by the media. And she sees that same fire in Caitlin Clark. But here's the twist. Clark isn't just living up to the hype, she's redefining it. She's not here to be the next Sue Bird or Diana Taurasi. She's here to be the first Caitlin Clark. And let's not ignore the elephant in the room. The haters. The ones who claimed Clark couldn't handle the physicality of the WNBA. The ones who said Indiana wasn't a destination franchise. The Cheryl Swoops of the world, clinging to outdated narratives because they can't accept that the game has evolved. And it's evolved without their permission. They're watching the torch being passed. And instead of celebrating it, they're bitter because it wasn't handed to them. Are you in a position where you can add some pieces? Yes, we are. We're definitely in a position, and I would think that if you are a smart basketball player and you watch the way she plays, you would want to play with her. Asia Wilson, she's feeling the heat too. She's no longer the undisputed face of the league, and you can see it in her passive-aggressive social media posts, in her thinly veiled jabs during interviews. The WNBA is shifting, and Caitlin Clark is the epicenter of that shift. Clark didn't ask for the crown. She earned it. Through hard work, insane performances, and the kind of leadership you can't fake. And then there's Angel Reese, still out here acting like she's still in an imaginary college rivalry, not realizing she's playing a supporting role in the Caitlin Clark show. Reese can talk all she wants about being that girl, but the numbers don't lie. Clark's jersey retirement pulled in more viewers than Reese's actual games. But what really makes this Indiana team scary isn't just their roster or their star power. It's their mindset. They're not satisfied with just being competitive. They want rings. They want banners. They want to be the team that everyone talks about, not just because of one player, but because they're undeniable. So to all the doubters, the haters, and the so-called experts who thought Indiana was just a flash in the pan, Sue Bird sees you, and she's here to tell you that you're wrong. This isn't hype. This is history in the making. The Indiana Fever are here, and they're not going anywhere. And if you're not on board now, don't bother jumping on the bandwagon later. Because when Caitlin Clark hoists that MVP trophy, when the Fever are putting down nets, and when Sue Bird's words are replayed as prophetic, just remember, you heard it here first. The future of the WNBA runs through Indiana, and Caitlin Clark is driving the bus.